Hi Mortgage Heroes, Andy Cruz here in Business Development, and this is Monday Mortgage Minute. As I mentioned, last week was going to be a little bit light, yet there are still a few things we need to keep aware of. Monday, February 27th, pending home sales had a pretty low forecast of only 0.9%, but came in really hot at 8.1%. Now, this is a great print on the surface, and we're going to want to see more of this month after month in order to generate confidence that there's a trajectory change in this report through the rest of the year. And remember, this is just one great reading. We're going to need a string of these ongoing in order to really lock in that confidence. Tuesday, February 28th, consumer confidence came out well below what was expected. It was 102.9, and anything over 100 is considered good. But in this case, the expectation was 108.5. So 102 print isn't that great, but not all hope is lost quite yet. Wednesday, March 1st, the ISM Manufacturing PMI came in just about as expected and made very little difference in the markets this week, only because it was already struggling to begin with. And the continued struggle isn't breaking news. I would expect that this will gain more weight overall once this figure heads north of 50 once again, which is a sign of expansion, and anything below 50 is a signal of contraction. Thursday, March 2nd, unemployment was pretty much the same as the previous week, pretty low, and a non-issue. Except for the fact that the Fed needs to see more unemployment, and it's not happening. They're totally going to raise rates again, especially because the labor market isn't softening like they needed to. Friday, March 3rd, the ISM Services PMI came out pretty quietly and not so volatile that people are talking about it. Among all the other major headlines when it comes to the economy right now, this one is a real lightweight until it becomes a problem. That day could still come, but for right now, we may have found some footing. Now, this week is a big deal for a few key reasons. Number one, Jerome Powell will be testifying before the Senate Banking Committee Tuesday, March 7th and Wednesday, March 8th. Everyone connected to the markets and finance will be listening for what he says as we near the next Fed meeting this month. The markets will be volatile and most likely experience wild swings as tuned-in ears are jockeying for position on what it could all mean moving forward. If you're listening to anything that could be a clue for what the next Fed meeting will be like, listen for Jerome to say things about prices becoming entrenched and that their upwards trajectory for rates to sustain until they are confident their work is done. If you hear those two things or anything that remotely sounds like those two things, that confirms they're worried that inflation's here to stay. Number two, labor and jobs are in the spotlight big time. We have JOLTS coming out, ADP non-farm payroll, unemployment, and average hourly earnings all on deck to give us a very well-rounded look at how the labor markets are performing, where there are more pain points lifting up their heads, and possibly what the next shoe to drop will be. This week is going to be a really good week for gauging the economic horizon. So what does all this mean for mortgage rates, Andy? Well, everything I just mentioned coming up this week is going to impact mortgage rates as money moves into or out of the mortgage-backed security market. As we've been teaching you, the more money that comes in, the lower the rates will go, and the more money that leaves the market creates scarcity, which causes rates to rise. With the next Fed meeting only a few weeks away, this is the week that could have the most volatile reaction between now and the next Fed rate announcement. Expect rates to go up or down by as much as 1/4 or 3/8% on any given day. Anything less volatile than that this week will be very welcomed. If you are not subscribed to this channel, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you see this show each week right when it posts. And if you have not yet checked out our other weekly show, The Mortgage Heroes Podcast, you can find it here on YouTube, but also on Apple Podcasts and Google Podcast platforms. Or look for links to the show on our Facebook and Instagram pages. Remember to share this video with someone you care about so they can win in mortgage and real estate in 2023. Thanks again for tuning in to Monday Mortgage Minute, and we'll see you again next week.